As a Starship captain, I am trained to withstand stressful situations. Admittedly, I'm feeling a great trepidation about my future right now. The character witnesses on my behalf have been testifying for the last couple hours. I owe a great debt to them all. Captain Ray Martin is appearing next. Let's hope it will be enough. Danvers has an effective record, winning almost every one of his court appearances. I cannot tell how well it is going, but bringing up the Amakdruk along with Pelor Prime looks damning. My fate and freedom remains tenuous at best. I cannot help but feel that Northrop may still have the last laugh.
The court is almost in session again, Captain Allan. Your presence is required at the main courtroom.
Yes, of course. I go to meet my fate.
The court is now in session. Character testimony will now resume.
I am the neutral inquisitor, representing the court for all character testimonials. We have reached the 10th and final witness. Let the record show we are interviewing Captain Raymond Martin of the Starship Saladin. Do you swear upon the court rules of tribunal and will answer fully and honestly all questions asked of you?
I do so swear.
Please inform the court how well you know the defendant, Captain Holt Allan.
We've worked together a couple of times. I know him professionally.
Were you aware beforehand that Captain Allan was Druladian?
Honestly, at the time I was unaware he was anything but another human like myself. He's always comported himself professionally and with humility, and a good measure of compassion. He and the Antyllus most recently saved me and the crew of my shuttlecraft from an extra-dimensional entity. I found his instincts to be quite good. I wouldn't be here to testify if they weren't.
Please tell the court all you know about the Amakdruk incident.
A few months earlier, the Antyllus was near our sector and had engaged a hostile force known as the Amakdruk. The cost was horrific. Hate was everywhere. Massive destruction. Madness. They had been damaged in the conflict, and Saladin stopped by to help them with repairs. At the time, I got to know Holt a little. He was very remorseful at the outcome of that first contact, but at the same time, he did what any Starfleet officer would have done in this situation. He defended his ship and crew from a hostile force bent on their destruction.
Inform us if you felt he handled the situation correctly.
Idealism has its place. When we can be merciful, we should be. He did not have that option because they ignored all his hails, and despite his warning, they still attacked relentlessly. And they paid the price for it. I too have had occasion to encounter an opponent that would prefer to die than negotiate. Holt saved his ship and its crew. In my book at that time, he did the right thing. To do otherwise would have been to surrender and be destroyed for nothing. The lesser of two evils is sometimes the only viable option.
So, you are in agreement with Captain Allan's actions?
I do.
So, in your professional opinion, self-preservation is a means to an end?
I believe I made it clear that self-defense is a sufficient reason.
Isn't this a very risky gambit for a commanding officer serving in Starfleet?
Risk is a part of the job, Counselor. When you put on the uniform, you accept the responsibilities that go with it. And a hostile force attacking worlds without provocation could not be ignored. especially with the hostiles in the vicinity. Had they not been right there, it might have been prudent to contact Starfleet Command for additional orders. But when you're in the hot seat and your standing orders are to defend lives that are in danger, it becomes essential that you take action without checking back for instructions constantly. That was a lesson hard learned in the 20th and 21st centuries on Earth.
What about the Anak group and how they felt about their situation?
What's this have to do with Captain Allan?
Is this standard operating procedure for a Starship captain? The ability to attack and destroy anyone they don't like?
If you're asking me to defend that, I have no intention of doing so, Counselor.
Let us be clear. Are these actions justified?
If you're asking my opinion on the subject, I don't think it's a fair comparison. In fact, considering the demands of the Drulidanian justice, I think he went out of his way to avoid killing Northern as his culture demanded. In my own culture, 2,300 years ago, there was a man who said to those hell-bent on stoning a woman for committing adultery, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." Not a one did, and they all walked away. Once they had, he told the woman, "Does no one condemn you?" And she replied, "No, my lord." He answered her, "Then neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." He also taught that we should not judge lest we be judged. I look at Captain Allan and what he's been through, and the decisions he had to make, and I think to myself, there but for the grace of God go I. His culture and mine are different, and yet his judgment was tempered by mercy.
Is his origin culture responsible then? In your opinion?
Yes, in my opinion.
Thank you, Captain Martin. Your testimony is concluded. The court thanks you for your time. You are excused.
Well, Sir Trell, how do we do?
It would be illogical to speculate on such matters, but we held our own, as the expression goes.
Court session will now resume. Concluding arguments will now be heard.
Here we go.
Starfleet gave Captain Holt orders to bring the crisis to a resolution. It did not state what he couldn't do. However, circumstances changed when Northen demanded that he meet with him, not as a representative of Starfleet, but as a fellow Drulidanian. Allan then proceeded with the rendezvous. In the end, the following criteria had to be met. Northon had to be stopped. Family honor was at stake and needed to be rectified. The Drulidanian culture demands retribution. And yet, Allan did a most honorable thing. Instead of killing Northen, he imprisoned him. All arguments for mental rehabilitation become irrelevant when one is informed that the Drulidanian mind does not respond to any known treatment. As a matter of fact, their minds die under such circumstances.
But even so, I cannot believe the Vulcans would support the barbaric actions Captain Allan has undertaken.
You would be in error, Mr. Danvers.
The question remains, can a man pick and choose which laws to follow? Can a man go down to a planet and torture a man because his culture says it's okay to do so? Ask yourself this. What would such a man do with the power of a starship? We know the answer. Just ask the Amakdruk. It's easy to claim no responsibility, as if there was no choice to be had. I submit that this Holt Allan used personal loss to exact revenge, and if given the opportunity, will destroy others, all in the name of cultural identity. He must be stopped, at the very least stripped of his rank. We must keep such a man away from any temptation to hurt others, or to wipe out an entire species because they are unfriendly. Let us send a message. We all agree to Starfleet regulations. There can be no exceptions. Find this man guilty, and we'll all sleep a little better at night.
We believe that Captain Allan acted from a cultural perspective. He was within his right to terminate Northen as a Druidanian, but in keeping with Starfleet parameters, he imprisoned him instead. Although distasteful from our cultural foundation, we comprehend the nature of his actions. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. His action has saved countless lives from the murderous nature of Northen. It would be illogical to deny this. Northen was able to escape time and time again, and in each case went on to murder many beings. Information on the number of victims is still being calculated as we speak. In conclusion, based on what was presented here and the testimony offered by his fellow beings, it is clear that Captain Allan provided the resolution to a situation where there was no single solution otherwise available. He withheld from a justified killing from his cultural perspective and mercifully stopped one of the greatest mass murderers known. He should not be punished for this, but allowed to continue the mission that Starfleet has assigned him, one which has helped so many in need.
Before final judgment is considered, would the accused like to make a final statement?
Your Honor, I have always tried to do the right thing, and I take my responsibilities very seriously. If you look at my record, you will see that saving lives has always been my primary mandate. And I am a man of my word. I pledged that when Natalie was taken from me, I would not rest until I learned the truth. And I never would have believed that her death came at the hands of one of my best friends. Not to mention the destruction of so many other lives. I was duty-bound to stop him and to avenge all those whose lives he has taken. It was my personal obligation to represent justice for all those he wronged, but most of all for Natalie. Although she might not have wanted me to go this far, she was such a loving person. But I am from Alpha Drulidan 4, and so was Northen. He knew what he was doing, and I believe that some part of him, deep inside, wanted me to stop him. His actions, all designed for the showdown, his confessions to push me into action, all were designed for two possible outcomes. Either he won, or he lost, facing me. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that it was a form of self-destruction on his part. Northen never did anything without considering the consequences. If you want to know the truth, I am sorry for what happened to him, but not the reasons for doing what I did. Every man must face the tough choices, the impossible ones, even at the expense of great personal pain. I have to live with my actions, but my conscience is clear, for in the hour of greatest need, I did my duty. No matter the outcome of this trial, I will always try to save lives and make this galaxy a better and safer place. It is who I am. Thank you.
We have heard the concluding arguments and will now retire to consider all the facts. We'll reconvene upon case judgment. and notify both parties as to the verdict.
No matter the outcome, Mr. Trell, I want to thank you.
Your gratitude is not necessary, Captain. It was a required action on our part.
Of course. I wonder how long it will take.
All rise. Court is now in session.
I have conferred with the jury computer, and a judgment has been arrived at. An explanation for our conclusion is in order. There can be no absolutes when so many diverse cultures are all under the umbrella of a single parent organization. All have to be considered valid, otherwise prejudice would prevail for some over the others, and that would lead to chaos. For who would be the right culture, and who would be considered the wrong? But Starfleet does have rules and conditions, and its policy states that they recognize and respect all the cultures that's part of its community. Now, to say one broke the law when under its own law what was done is considered legal leads to a very conflicted situation. Captain Allan is the first Druladanian in Starfleet as a captain. It may be that this is an example where clearer guidelines might have to be drawn out, as we have a cultural clash here. But to the matter, it is the judgment of this court that Holt Allan was legally justified in defeating his opponent as a Druladanian, and that he was not acting as a Starfleet officer at the time of this incident. He is found not guilty.
I thank the court.
I would like to add a final thought, both to you and for the record. We are aware that this solution will anger certain parties that wanted to see Captain Allan convicted at all costs. But we are here to see that justice and the greater good are served. And since this was a unique situation, we feel it will not occur again. It is the recommendation of this court, however, that Captain Allan make a decision to exclusively abide by Starfleet's regulations in the future, and avoid the consequences of the expulsion of the Druladanians from Starfleet Command altogether, should something like this ever arise again.
I understand, sir. I will certainly give it all the attention it deserves.
You are free to go, Captain Allan. This trial is now concluded.
A friendly word of advice, Captain. Just because you won today doesn't mean you can do whatever you like. You're no god as far as I'm concerned. In fact, you are a dangerous man. You better walk the line, because I'll be watching. The next time, no fancy loophole is going to save you.
I'm sure he's not alone in feeling that way. Mr. Trell, how can I thank you?
There is no need. Logic demands that we examine all issues, no matter how distasteful. It was generally felt among my people that we were indebted to you for stopping the Katra thefts. Vulcan had its dark history, which we survived and overcome. You show that same potential.
I'm not sure. I think I've been insulted and complimented at the same time.
Go and continue with your mission. If you need our services again, we will be available. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, Mr. Trell. How do you feel, Holt? Like I can get on with my life, Doc. I can't bring Natalie back. But I've avenged her. And now I can move forward. Really living for the both of us. Antyllus, this is Captain Allan. 2 to beam up. We're coming home. Yes?
I've been looking at the results of your physical since you've been back and cross-checked them against the results of Northam.
I don't understand. Northam? What's with the cross-check?
Captain, this is difficult. I'm trying to figure it out.
Doc, I'm very tired. Can't you just explain this to me plainly and simply?
All right, here it is straight. When they tested Northam at the medical facility, they found something in his skin. In his palms, actually.
What did they find in his hands?
A drulidanian poison. It's slow-acting, and it won't affect any other species but yours. But it's fatal.
Are you saying Northam was poisoned?
No, I'm saying he took the poison to use it, presumably against you.
I'm confused. If he took the poison, wouldn't it affect him as well? It doesn't make any sense. I feel fine. What's the problem?
I don't have all the answers, but I'm guessing Northam didn't care if he was going to die from it. He will, but like I said, it's slow acting. But when you came into contact with him, you were poisoned. Your lab results confirm it, but this poison works differently with every biology. How it's going to manifest itself in you, I can't say.
Is there anything you can do?
I'll do everything I can for you. But I have to tell you, the clock is ticking. I honestly don't know how long you have. Eventually, you're going to die from this.